Great. Thank you very much, everyone, for staying. The way Professor Menon and I decided to moderate this was I'm going to throw some points. And as you know from the topic of the presentation, it's starting in college. And I have Professor Ahuja right here, was my mentor, and I have such a great story to tell you on how I got started in Michigan. I'm a proper immigrant entrepreneurial story. And as we talk about some of the concepts, Professor Menon is going to ask me some questions, and that's how we take it forward. I'm assuming the questions are going to be at the end. So let's hope we have a fun time, okay? Great. I'm going to do a quick statistics. Okay. Super sensitive, okay. How many of you are in the ages of 16 and 25? Okay, babies. How many of you are 26 to 30? Starting to get gray hair. How many of you are between 31 and 40? Life is hell, right? Okay, cool. That gives me a perspective of who my audience is. Next question. How many of you have thought of starting a business at some time in your life?
Wow.
Absolutely amazing. Thought of something.
That's great.
How many of you are thinking of it right now? I don't mean this second, but in this period of time that you want to do something of your own. Great. That's always the most important first step. How many of you have just come to the US for the MBA, like never been to the US before? I was one of those. I started this company within 4 months of landing in this country. So you have to listen to how I did it. How many of you are already doing something about the idea that you have? Few of you, maybe 20%. Okay. The ones who are not doing anything about it, why? What's holding you back? The majority, like if I do a bell curve, the majority of the people in this presentation right now are between 26 and 30. What's holding you back? I need somebody to answer. I don't want a cold call. Money? Family? What else? Sorry? Uncertainty. What else? Everything is crap. Money? Oh, you're in the United States of America. That's not going to be a problem. Family? You're Indian. It's not going away anywhere. Trust me. Our family, that's the one thing we got, right? The third was uncertainty. That's what you want in an entrepreneur. You crave and you want that uncertainty. That's why you do it. And what was the last one? I missed it. Uncreativity? But you're very honest, which is a great thing. Okay. So, here's what we're going to do today. But before I do that, let me tell you a little bit about my journey and what I have done. So, there it is, okay? I was going to put a picture of Modi and a picture of Trump, but I kind of resisted that. And Professor Menon calls it Modiism and Trumpism. So.
No, my dad says he came from Modistan to Trumpistan.
Okay, so. Modistan to Trumpistan. Okay. So, my journey started in 2005 when I took that amazing British Airways flight that lost my luggage, like it always does. And I came to Ann Arbor and touched down here for the first time in the fall of 2005. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was a confused 27-year-old, I think, at that point of time. I seriously did not know. I was a production engineer. I hated it. I only did it because my dad believed that mechanical engineers are going to rule the world, which maybe is true and maybe it's not. And secondly, I just wanted to get out of India. The startup culture in India wasn't prevalent at that point of time. So that's what got me to the US. Now, when I came here, I have always been a very hyperactive child, person, crazy. I cannot sit in a classroom. I cannot sit in a traditional classroom and learn. I have to create, I have to organize, and I have to do something about it. I have to do something that gives an experience to everybody in front of me. So, here is what I did. I explored a lot, and then I got this idea, and I leave the how I did it to what it is. I started Elevate K-12 as an internship project at business school in MBA. For my first year, I went to professors. Professor Ahuja can vouch for that. I went to Paul Kirsch. I went to ZLI. There are places that I did not go to, and I'll tell you what. But I saw this tuitions coaching class model. I'm sure all of you have thought about it. India thrives on that. And when we come to US, there's nothing. There's no coaching center. There's no learning center. So my idea was, how do I take this concept and convert it into a business that is online? So I tried it. I started it. Long story short, here is where we are. From then to now, our company has had a CAGR of 88%. We bootstrapped the company until June 2016. I never raised, and I'll tell you why as we go through this. I raised at the time when I knew it was right for the company to go to the next level. From last year to this year, our CAGR has been 153%, a concept that started as an internship project. What we do is, we currently work with school districts in the country. We partner with the federal government, and the school districts that are failing, we provide extra instruction to those students. We are built into their school day. We've just launched a B2C product, and that's called Class Blocks, where parents can take any classes. We have a network of 600 instructors in US. Our tutors are not in India. Everything is in US. We have a network of 600 instructors in US. We are currently one of the largest job opportunities for secondary income for teachers in the country. For me, this company was never about the money that I make, what I do, my name, my fame. It was always about the cause of helping children. I was listening to the social impact panel where somebody asked a question, how do you make money? When you are an entrepreneur, you know how to make money, right? When you make social impact on that, it becomes sustainable and it gives you a sense of happiness and joy because you're seeing this person in front of you that you're impacting. So I'm not going to go into the details of what my company is because this topic is about what you can do if you want to start something. So let's get started. You've seen a lot of workshops today, so you've got a lot of gyan, right? Okay. Here is what we're going to do. You're going to get some more gyan from me. And I'm calling my gyan, and I am calling it the gyanisms. I actually just thought of it on the flight this afternoon. So there are 5 gyanisms that are key takeaways that you're going to take from this presentation today. Let's start. Professor, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Number 1 most important thing, somebody said, I don't know what I want to do, is find your passion.
So we have a lot of speakers who come here and tell you guys that, right? Find your passion, find your passion. So can you tell us a little bit about how you found your passion?
Okay, great question. Many of you want to be a business person, but you don't know what. If there's one thing that I'll tell you, if you truly want to be a successful entrepreneur, do something that you love to do. Don't go and ask someone, can you give me an idea? Then you're not an entrepreneur. But there is a method that you can follow to find your passion. And here is a method. The most important thing and first thing is explore. Get outside of your comfort zone of classes, GPAs, consulting, Goldman Sachs, McKinsey. Get out of that. I know all of that is going to happen, right? Networking, gunning, that guy is talking to that recruiter that I'm supposed to talk to. Crap, right? Explore yourself on what you truly like to do. For me, it was education. I got a teaching degree in India after my engineering. When I came to Ross, my first idea was a lead generation, like something about, I don't even remember, it was so crappy. Like it was like this rooftop where I was going to do something on the roof and I was going to get seeds from India. I just made a business plan. It didn't excite me. My second business was about fashion. It didn't excite me. Then my third idea, I explored a lot. I joined the Junior Achievement Program, went to a couple of schools in the neighborhood, found Professor Ahuja's daughter, who was kind of my first user, and I loved it. I couldn't stop thinking about it. So my answer to you is explore. Try different kinds of things. Travel. And then in that area somewhere, you will hit upon this spike that you can't stop thinking about. How you date. Like you date multiple people, and then you finally meet this one person that it just fits. Right? I'm talking about pre-Tinder world, by the way. So that's how you do this. You explore different things, and this is the right place to do it. You have the School of Ed here, you have the law school, the engineering school, opportunities, right? Go and explore, and you will find something. Okay?
All right.
Right? Okay, the ones who are from Chennai or southern India, Paisa means money. And because this was India conference, I thought I could do a little bit of this. Many a times, okay, sorry, question.
Well, the question is basically, so it's great you found your passion. How do you know that can actually be a business?
A very important thing, and one of the main reasons why 90% of the startups fail. I come from a Banya family in India, like seriously. In my family, business was the most important thing. If you have a product and an idea, and it's so great, and you are so passionate about it because it's your idea, but along with being passionate, you're also borderline stupid. And what that means is, nobody's ready to buy your product. There isn't really a market need. So what this means is, everything is great. Your passion, your ideas, you're an amazing person, you got 780 on your GMAT, you came to Michigan, you're great. But if you are thinking of a product that only you are going to use, and it's not adding value to your customer, and there is no revenue generation stream that you can see, it's not a good idea. I'm going to tell you an example of how I found my product market fit. I had two options when I had this online instruction model. I go B2C or I go B2G. B2C means you need a lot of funding. I don't know if there's a product market fit. All I knew was there's no tuitions here. Like seriously, macroeconomics was so tough for me. And I did not have a coaching center that I could go to. I went to Professor Ahuja and I said, I have this idea. I actually went to his house, set up his computer. His daughter Karishma was the first B2C user. And I got feedback from that. I spoke to professors. I spoke to the people here. Are you going to buy this? How much are you going to pay? When I got my first paid customer, I kind of got an idea that, yeah, people will pay for something like this. In B2G, I went to a school district, and I realized that school districts have a federal funding source called Title I. And Scarlett Middle School right here gave me a check of $10,000. And then Baltimore County Public Schools gave me a check of $40,000. So before I put all my eggs in one basket, I first did a product market fit that yes, people are ready to buy a product. Never forget that. I know that Silicon Valley talks about user base, and that's a different kind of business, and it's great. But for every one Snapchat, there are 1 million disasters. So remember that and always find something where people are ready to give you money for your product.
Excellent. So now let's talk a little bit about what was your experience like as a student starting your business while in school? How did that impact your life?
Why do you think I said shut up and shut yourself up? What do you mean by that? Sorry? Outside influences and this. If there's one thing you take away from this presentation today is FOCUS. I cannot overemphasize the importance of this word, focus. Professor Menon just asked me, how was my life here as a student? In my parameters, it was great, but in a traditional parameter of a student, it was probably bad. I never went to Dominic's. I went to one happy hour, and as an Indian, I didn't understand why it even existed. Seriously. It is a fact, right? Like, we don't come understanding what happy hour is. Like, okay, yeah, it's a little cheaper, but why? Does Scorekeeper still exist? Okay, I went to Scorekeeper once and I hated it. I like to party, don't get me wrong. I like to do all those things, but it was not the right time. I had 2 years where I was spending this money to get an education in one of the best business schools in the world. I was not going to waste that time drinking and partying and things. I had found this idea. So what I used to do is, I used to leave Central Campus and go to the boring North Campus where all the engineering grads were. Trust me, all my friends right now from University of Michigan are all engineering students. I have very few business school students. And there was a library there, and I promised myself, I'm not going to, every day after my classes, I used to straight away go there, work on my business plan, ideas. I already had people paying me. Until I saw the sunrise, I didn't leave. The moment I saw the sunrise, I would come back, sleep. I had a lot of Adderall, I will tell you that. But I used to come back and then do it. No matter what's happening, I did consulting too, but I didn't go crazy about it, right? I strategized the right people that I have to network with, no matter what my friends were saying. They were saying, you're crazy, why are you even starting an idea? Nobody is going to buy anything. I seriously did not care. When you are confident and when you are doing something that you know tomorrow is going to change the world, and if you lose focus, it's your fault. So if you fail tomorrow, don't blame anybody on it, because these are the only 2 years in your life that you're going to get these resources. You're not going to get it again. So make sure that you focus. Let your friends go wherever they want to go. You have something meaningful to do. Because after 10 years, now, I'm 38 now. If you look at my life now, compared to my friends, it's a dramatic difference. We are set at a path where we are probably going to be listed over the next 5 to 10 years. But that's our goal. And that focus that we had, no matter what happened in my life, that focus you cannot lose. So please, please, don't lose focus. Everybody gets married, divorced, has babies. That's all going to happen to each one of you. I don't mean it, but trust me. Okay.
So, how did you take advantage of the resources that were here available to you to help you start your business?
Sure. Why did I list execution? Here is the point. We all go through weight loss, right? Everybody wants to lose weight. And you have a goal. I want to lose 10 pounds or whatever, kgs and all you want to lose. Having an idea is like having a goal. But converting that idea into a viable business that works is 3 things: planning, execution, and commitment. Commitment is linked to focus, so I'm not going to talk about it because I touched upon it. Let me talk about planning and execution. I had this idea, I didn't know what to do. So, how do I go about really executing these ideas? Have any one of you ever faced that challenge? I have this idea, but I don't know what to do next. Right? Whom do I reach out to first? I'm supposed to make a SWOT analysis and it looks gorgeous, but what do I do with that? Like, how is that going to help my business? I did make a business plan. I made sure that I made it, but I didn't do any. Trust me, when they say that's a fact, it's a fact. I didn't do any of those things which were in the business plan. My planning and execution was to the T. When I planned certain items, and it didn't come naturally to me. I'm very ADD, so skipping plans and goals was very easy. I started penalizing myself for every non-executed plan not on the timeline. What that means is, if I said that by so-and-so date, I'm going to reach out to 10 school districts, and if I didn't do that, I cut something that gave me happiness. That was just my weird way of making the execution work. But here, you have to think about this business idea. These are the 10 steps that I'm going to follow. And some are going to be in series and some are going to be in parallel. Make sure that you find the right balance, but execute it correctly. If you are blaming others for the lack of execution, it's your fault, because as a leader, and being an entrepreneur as a leader, that's one thing that I was the most terrible person on a team when I started here. I wanted to win everything and people hated being on my team. There was a bargaining negotiation class where in the end they needed to vote, and I was voted as nobody wanted to ever negotiate with me. I have learned a lot since business school then. Now I can bargain and negotiate really well. But that determination of executing everything right is what I'm talking about. 90%, trust me, people email me, call me every day. Shaily, can you help me? I have this great idea. I talk to them for 5 minutes. I'm like, you know what? Don't even waste your time. Go join another entrepreneur, and not everybody can be an entrepreneur, right? If you have the idea and the execution capabilities, you will. But execution is important.
So before we move on, do you want to talk a little bit about business plan competitions and the other schools here that you're able to work with?
Okay. So how did I get my seed money? I bootstrapped my company, right? So the business plan competitions was one way for me to raise money. I participated in every business plan competition that existed in University of Michigan, right from the A.T. Kearney Global Prize to McKinsey to Michigan Business Challenge, Dare to Dream, Social Impact. Every time I presented, the next time I got better and better and better. And once I won the Michigan Business Challenge in 2007, they sent me to Mood Corp in Austin. I went to Jungle Media in New York. I went to Rise Business Challenge. These are opportunities that if you are not doing it right now, once you are out of this business school, unless you want to do a PhD, you're not going to get these opportunities again. Then it's time to get married, it's time to have babies, it's time to work. If you are not making use of these competitions right now, you're doing a disservice to the money that you're investing, to the resources, and the amazing pool of professors and talent available here. So for me, my idea was to raise money through these business plan competitions, and I think I raised about $140K just from business plan competitions. Okay.
And the other schools.
And the other schools, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I traveled a lot with Paul Kirsch.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so the last question I have for you is did you ever feel like giving up, and what did you do?
Why do you think I have this here? Why do you think I have this word here? Come on, everybody knows why I have it here. Sorry? Loyalty, okay. What else? Sorry? Have faith in yourself. What else? Immortal? Immortal. Oh yeah, I wish that was me. No, it's not that. No, it's not that. Lift a mountain, okay. Sorry, what?
As an entrepreneur, I know this is very important.
This is right. I was actually going to write the actual word which you will agree with the next, but I was like, you know what? Let's just write Hanuman. Yes, and that's why this is my last point. Sorry? Okay. It's a little bit of everything, right? It's this. Grit, perseverance, tenacity. Okay? What does that mean? Did you already ask me?
Yeah, so if you ever felt like giving up, and what did you do about it?
Many times. Many times. Trust me. Remember, I was bootstrapping this company. I lived in a pigeonhole in Chicago. I was paying $400 rent when my friends were living in fancy Lakeshore Drive apartments. It didn't matter to me. The only thing that I was focused on, I need to take this solution to as many kids as possible. Let me give you an example of a time when I really wanted to quit. I was connected to this VC, and I'm not going to name that VC. And I was in my second year of business school at that point of time. And one of the top 3 VCs in the country, like just absolutely amazing. And I went and I pitched to them. And my concept was about selling to school districts, which is a B2B. And Silicon Valley likes a lot of B2C. They like unicorns. They like you to be a billion-dollar company valuation in 5 years. I'm more of a sustainable horse. I cannot do something if it does not truly add value. I went to them, I pitched to them, and he didn't even look at me throughout the presentation. He was on his BlackBerry at that point of time. And after the presentation, he's like, you don't have your thoughts right, you don't have your idea right, your execution is going to fail. Any company that has ever sold to the school district has never crossed the $1 million mark, even after investment. I don't know why you were even selected by my associate to come and pitch to me. And I was in my second year of business school. And I left that room with kind of a mixed feeling. A part of me was angry because he doesn't know who I am. He doesn't know what my business is. A part of me was scared. You know, that guy is a Harvard MBA. Like, he has invested in some of the top companies in the world. He probably knows that I'm going to fail. And a part of me, and the bigger part of me said, I don't care who you are. I'll find somebody who believes in my product. And this situation, I till date face. This doesn't go away. I'll be very frank with you, I launched a B2C product last year. It's gone pretty well, but it's not gone as expected. There were some technology errors that we're working on now. And when I look back now, I say, damn it, you know, I should have invested in it in a completely different way. But then again, we don't give it up. We're now recreating the product, relaunching it over summer. If you don't have grit and tenacity, Point number 2 is very important, the product market fit and revenue. You cannot discount that. That's where most people fail. If you have that and your product has a need in the market, then this is what you need in your DNA. Can you learn this? Yes. How? Because you at least know now that these are the important things that you need to survive, to be an entrepreneur. You're going to be lonely, like seriously. When they say you're lonely as an entrepreneur, you truly are. But I love it. I just love being lonely because I just love what I do so much. So those are the 5 key tips that I thought were extremely important if you are thinking of an idea, guys, if you're even exploring an idea. And if you feel that your passion and your idea has a revenue generation opportunity, don't give it up. Because this is the only place. You can go to the law school, to the engineering school, connect with people, find partnerships, try it. What do you have to lose? You have a Ross MBA. Even if it doesn't work, you go get a job somewhere. It doesn't matter. So, most important thing to take today is find your passion, number 1. Number 2, find a product market fit. Number 3, focus. Number 4, execution. And number 5, Hanuman. Great. Thank you so much, guys, for joining today, and I'll be happy to take any questions right now. Yep. Am I supposed to just pick some?
Do you want to call on people, or
Okay.
want me to call? Want to call?
Okay, it's working. I have a question in regards to, did you look for a partner to work with at Ross? Did you have like an accountability partner? How did you get through, I mean, it sounded like you also did some torture yourself mechanisms, but I'm just to get yourself through, but is there any advice you have in terms of how to find a partner that has the same passion and
Sure.
how to balance skills and all that? And by the way, you're amazing. I admire you.
Thank you. Okay, great question, okay? I'm not going to start with the point about whether I had a co-founder or not, but let me tell you what I've seen in other companies and how it's important. Is it important? Yes, it is, and I will tell you why. Because when you have a startup, you're doing so many things at one time. You are the accountant, you are the operations, you are the salesperson, you are the bookkeeper, and you are everything. Like I started restaurants in India about 3 years back, which I sold to Dabur. And even then, if you're a single founder, there are so many things that you have to do at the same point of time. But there are different kinds of entrepreneurs, right? There are some people like me. I'm the kind of person, I'm very clear about an idea, and I like a team around me. When I say jump, they jump and they execute. But sometimes it's important to have a co-founder. But the problem that happens with most co-founders is they start fighting. You have these 2 absolutely amazing, intelligent people who come from different backgrounds, come from different cultures. Their value systems are different. And unless there is a clear definition that you are the product person and you are the salesperson, or you are the finance person and you are the salesperson, they both need to have completely complementary skills, right? Then the partnership is very valuable. How do you find them? It goes back to the fact of exploring. You know, when you start reaching out to different resources, and once you find, and trust me, you may work and become a co-founder with an entrepreneur, because everybody's risk-taking capabilities are not the same, right? People are wired differently. So finding a co-founder is great, but make sure that you get along, because most of them, I've seen companies fail, even here in Michigan, fail because the co-founders did not get along. It's as simple as that. But having complementary skills always helps. Cool. Yeah.
Very, very inspiring story. Thank you so
you.
much for sharing it. And as a fellow Bania, I can doubly appreciate you not raising capital. So props to you. How did you manage the immigration situations?
Oh yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah, that is one thing that this country definitely needs to work on. It was problematic. So after 1 year, I was on a OPT, And then I had a consulting job. So I was working in consulting and kind of, I started a company immediately in India. I worked on a L1A visa, guys. An L1A visa. Now things have changed and, you have EB1 and, I think Obama started a startup visa for entrepreneurs. I don't know what the new administration is going to do. But an L1A visa is basically, you start a company in India and if the company has been in India viable for 3 years, you can open an affiliate or a subsidiary here in the US, and you as a chief executive officer, of course there are a lot of terms and conditions, you as a chief executive officer can then have that visa to travel back and forth. So it's called L1A. That's what I'm on. Yeah. It's a nightmare. It's really bad. I mean, you can always marry someone.
Hey, thank you for sharing your story.
Sure, yeah.
So I just wanted to ask, what exactly is your management style? Like an example would be, do you believe a collaborative style is better, or do you believe like a one person and then you kind of delegate it out? So what worked best for you?
It has changed over the years and it evolves as the company grows. I will tell you that. Like every time we grew at an 88% CAGR. So it was always a storm. More than management style, let me highlight another important point. A business is a group of people coming together and doing something. You are only as good as your people. I remember I took an entrepreneurship class here in Michigan, and the first slide of that class was throw peanuts and get monkeys. I cannot overemphasize that point. You firstly hire the best people in the world. Recruitment has to be a selection process and not elimination. I'm not hiring you because you're the best out of the 4. Maybe my sample size is wrong. I'm hiring you because you're the best person with the growth mindset who's going to come here, be intellectually curious, and take this company to the next level. So the first part is I hire the best people, and I'm very fortunate that great people want to work for us. And that's kind of because of the culture of the company, and I'll tell you how. In the last 4 years, I've not had a single resignation. I've had terminations because they don't perform, and I'm quite a bad person that way. We give you 2 opportunities to perform. If not, I fire you because I don't have the time. If you want to be that fast-growing company, you kind of have to be a bitch, and I don't care if people call me that because ultimately you're building something that's going to remarkably change the world. So my management style is hiring the best people, delegating work to them, getting out of the way, but having measurement metrics and giving them the KPIs and not making it overtly complicated. Like you don't want to have so many meetings and stuff like that. One thing that we did in our company which really added value was Jeff Bezos and Amazon, instead of the people presenting PowerPoints, he makes them write Word documents. And since I started that in the company, our meetings have been shorter and just our productivity of the company has gone really up after that. So that's my style. Yeah. Cool. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah. Okay. Was there a question there?
Yeah, who's your, when you wrote Hanuman, who's your real Hanuman?
Oh my
Real Hanuman is because the thing is, as an entrepreneur, you need a Hanuman.
I think I have had multiple over the years.
Yeah.
It'll be.
Who's your best one? Is the best man?
I kind of struggle with the fact that I never had a mentor because I actually struggle with it. I wish a lot of things we should have been. I was just telling Professor Menon today. I think we would have grown more than 100% every year because our product market fit was so right. If somebody could just say, oh, from their learning curve that just don't do this. I learned everything. I bruised my knees and learned everything. Probably because I also just wanted, like I like torture. Like she said, I like going through that grind. There have been many. It started with my dad. He's an entrepreneur. Went to IT Delhi, started his company. I came from a middle class family. Saw my dad do his job and company. It's one of the largest healthcare equipment company in India right now. So he's, of course, my champion. Even today, he's my first call that I ever make. over the years when I came to Michigan, it was professors like Professor Ahuja, Paul Kirsch, these two people really, never put it down and never, always excited you. And then my clients, man, like my clients and my users, they are my true honeymoons. That's the answer. The kids that I work with.
But the answer, you want to listen to is somebody who loves you so much.
My clients.
They're your Hanuman.
My clients and my team.
Okay, great.
They are my life. Like I don't have a life outside of my company. There's no work-life balance when you're an entrepreneur. Just one life. Okay.
I think you just touched upon my question towards the end of that answer. I want to understand what's your take on work-life balance.
What's my what?
What's your
work-life
take
balance?
on work-life
So
balance?
here's the thing. I like to dive. I like to surf. So these are two things that I do. But again, those are more to calm myself down. I love what I do, right? So this is my life. So I don't really need, and I work 7 days a week. I work long weekdays because it's just so much fun that nothing else is ever going to be as fun as the work that I do. So sometimes if I'm out with my friends, I'm like, damn it, when can I go back to work? Yeah.
So clearly you thrive on challenges and you actually crave for challenges. You're not afraid. When you were doing your MBA, you faced challenges. You failed a couple of times. What now at this point? What worries you more, or what would you say? All right, I will scale it back a little bit, or you will still go full throttle. What would be that one thing that would be concerning?
What do you think my answer is? Do you think I'm going to tell you I'm going to scale it back? No. Here is why. We've reached a point where we know that we've created a product that's going to change K-12 education, not just in US but globally, which is experts connecting with students in a live environment. And there's no end to this, right? I can learn Mandarin from the best instructor in China. A student in China can live, say, Roger Federer taking a live tennis class. We are working towards an education system that can use data analytics to form early predictors for success in life, so that by the time you're, from the concept of outlier, by the time you're 13 or 14, we can probably recommend these are the career choices, so you don't have to be a mechanical engineer like me and then say that, oh my God, I hate it. So all of that is from my personal experience. Yes, we are going full throttle. Our goal is to be that education company. Like, no education company comes to your mind. Like, if you think about search, it's Google. If you think about car, it's Uber. So that's we're trying, and let's see, hopefully we will get there.
Thank you for this great presentation.
Sure.
My question is with regards to failures. Failures are some of the biggest learning lessons for any startup, any entrepreneurial venture. What experiences, what failures did you have in your journey to here?
Oh my God,
that you
so
learned
many,
the best
man.
from?
So many. Everywhere. Failures are everywhere, right? It depends on how you define failure, right? Every time in your life where you think you're going to do it okay, let me explain it to you this way. I don't think of a failure as a failure because I'm fearless. And there's one thing that my dad taught me. He said, I am raising you to be an independent person. There are going to be opportunities and times in your life where you're going to fall and you're going to bruise your knees. And when you bruise your knees, you're not going to come crying to me. Trust me, my parents never console me that, oh my God, come here, I'll help you. No. Put a Band-Aid, put a smile on your face and get up and find a solution to it. So a failure is a failure if you think it's a failure, right? Everything in life is an experience. Some experiences are good and some experiences are bad. From the bad experiences, actually, every time I had a failure, it gave me an opportunity to think of a new strategy. And I will tell you that in business. I didn't think of that unique way. Like when I started, my instructors were from India, like any Indian. I thought of that, right? But the failure was the kids weren't enjoying it. So yeah, I should have wrapped my company because the business model is not going to work. At that point of time, $1 was 39 rupees. No. That made me change my business model. From 1 to 1, I went 1 to 2. I found a US instructor, paid them $8, and I was making a better profit. Right? So different opportunities will come, but failure also gives you an opportunity to change course and change strategy. I may be wrong, Professor, but that is one of the ways that we thought of it. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi. So even I have some entrepreneurial background, and because of which I have had the chance of talking to a couple of other entrepreneurs. Right. And one impression that I have got from female entrepreneurs is that they are at a certain disadvantage.
Okay.
Do you agree with that?
Of what?
In any way, be it in terms of raising funds or be.
Then they are not entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Simple. I don't. Yeah. Please go ahead.
As an entrepreneur, you have a chip on your shoulder that you are so vibrant and so you have freedom. For me, I left EY in 2000. I was a global partner and left in 2015. The whole thinking, what she's saying, are relating 100%. You're fearless. You're not afraid of anything. You just jump and then swim. That's the word thinking. If you are just thinking about saying that I have a card of Ernst & Young or a McKinsey and all, that will help you. And then when you leave, the whole thinking is then you are retired from day one.
And I mean, yeah, is it tough raising money as a woman? Yeah, but it's not a disadvantage. Maybe I'm advantaged in some other areas, you know. Maybe it was advantageous for me that I'm an Indian, so people naturally thought that I could do math well and start. Most education companies are for some reason started by Asians, I don't know. Maybe that's an advantage. If you feel that I'm at a disadvantage, I would say that's for those entrepreneurs, that shows a little bit of a lack of confidence, and that will make it tough over the journey. That ties into the failure. If you feel you're at a disadvantage, find your option B, find plan B, BATNA. That's what we learn in business school. Have your BATNA at the back of your hand, always. Yeah? Yeah. What is the greatest challenge? It's not really a challenge. I don't think it's a, no, I'm thinking, wait. It's not a challenge, but because we are investing so much right now, growth capital is very important, right? We were at a stage where we were not a startup. We were already multi-million in revenue when we raised funding. And then we are not a startup. We are not ready for private equity. So I kind of got stuck in the middle. Which was very challenging because some investors have mandates and we didn't fit in the mandates. But what that basically meant was increase your denominator, right? If there's a probability of conversion, make your denominator larger, pitch to as many, like I'm starting a roadshow next week actually to raise for next year. And it's not a challenge, but fundraising is complicated, right? To me, sales is easier than fundraising. And fundraising is a hit or a miss. Sales, if you have a good product, your client will always buy. Customer referrals are always going to be there. Fundraising is a different ballgame altogether. And you are in the land of fundraising, which is US. Yeah.
So, like after taking various entrepreneurship courses here, many of them say that, like statistically speaking, you have a higher probability of succeeding if you start your company, say 10 years down the line, after you have expertise in one particular field, rather than directly starting a company out of college when you don't really have any like specific skill sets. And so yeah, what's your take on that? I mean, should we try to start a company directly out of school, or should we wait and try to get some experience?
You start a company when you feel that you have a product that has a market need. Okay? And I'll tell you the difference in the statistics and why those numbers are. This is just my perspective and I may be wrong. Right out of college, you don't have any experience of execution and no experience of being accountable to anyone. That's a big challenge as an entrepreneur, right? You're confident, you're this, you're that. You're not freaking accountable to anyone. So the only person you're accountable to is the person in the mirror. What happens with 10 years of experience is a dual thing. In a good way, it teaches you execution, business, a corporate structure. In a bad way, it makes you too stylo. Entrepreneurship is about freedom. And I will step down from the company at the time that I feel that I'm not building this company to sell it, right? I'll step down at the time that I feel that I can't run it anymore. I'll become chairman, I'll do something, I'll buy a a house in San Diego. I'll do something. But be true to your skill sets, and then a true entrepreneur will fill those gaps by hiring the smart people. As we started growing the company, I can't code. I'm a production engineer. I still don't know what coding is. But that doesn't mean I didn't build this. I didn't wait for 10 years to learn coding. I didn't know, like, yeah, I went to business school, but actual accounting and cash flow management is a totally different game altogether. I always got the right people that fill the skill gaps that I did not have. As an entrepreneur, your job is to be a leader, right? And create this team that has this passion to take this forward. Even without you, even after you die, the brand has to go forward. Yeah. Okay, I have two girls. Yeah.
Well, I don't have to stand, but you mentioned that you were production engineering and background. How do you feel, or is it your role as an entrepreneur, or like you approaching business school?
No, I don't think so, frankly. And I know my dad's not going to be happy about that. But like I was in business school here, the structure of the brick and mortar education was not for me. It was just how I was. I went to engineering school, and if any one of you are engineers from India, I didn't get a single 80 KD or anything. I just flied with great colors, but I don't remember anything about fluid mechanics. Like, I seriously don't. I did get a teaching degree after that. That impacted, yes, right? So I did have a degree in teaching, and that definitely, and I loved my teaching course. I didn't miss a single class because that was my passion. So I think that was the time I realized that this is something that I want to pursue as a more permanent career or passion. Yeah. There was a girl here who had a question. Hi.
I have one kind of personal question, if you can answer.
Sure.
I wrote it down because I didn't want to forget it. In the initial first steps of determining the feasibility of your product, I'm wondering if you did that at all prior to, or did you kind of just jump into it?
No, I did, right? That's what I said, that I did the B2C feasibility with Professor Ahuja's daughter, Karishma, and the B2B business, I had Scarlett Middle School, and U of M, actually I partnered with U of M. We used the Sam Wiley basement, and U of M buses were sent to the middle school to pick up the kids to bring it here so we could study and do the research.
Okay, so during that point, did you ever face one single or major hurdle? It could have been like
Every day.
mental, physical, whatever.
You're A/B testing, right? A/B testing means you have a product, you have an idea, and you're testing it till your user is satisfied with the outcome, and your purchaser, and your user and purchaser may not always be the same, and your purchaser is ready to open their wallet and pay, right? So it's a constant process of trial and error. It's constant. Today, every day, at the end of the day, you have to sit down, what did we learn today, and change strategy. You have to be very nimble and agile, and that's why startups succeed. We don't have to go through these corporate structures and silos to follow. We can change things overnight, right? And that's the beauty of it. So I did face a lot of challenges. Like, there's so many. Like, it's really hard for me to pinpoint few. I mean, it's always cash, right? Because I did not fundraise, cash was always a problem. One thing I will say, and I wanted to highlight it today, when I first came to US, in the first 1 month, I wanted to go back. I don't understand American football. Like, for me, football is something totally different. It was so difficult for me. Like, I remember I used to call up my mom and say, I want to come back. Like, I don't think US is for me. Like, I can't speak. Like, I was from Bombay, so Ann Arbor was like a rural area for me. Like, I didn't have my high rises and beaches next to me. So it was like culturally to adapt, even though I was from a major city, was so difficult. And I constantly faced that as I was growing the company. But the beauty of this country is, if you have passion and if you want to do something, they don't judge you by anything. If you knock on their doors time and again, and that's what I tell all my friends, Steve Jobs always says that, pick up the phone and call. If you're not asking for help, you are going to continue to be at a disadvantage because you are the reason of the failure, not that person who did not pick up the call, right? So it's really hard for me. Nothing is coming to my mind right now as one big hurdle, but I can tell you there were many. Yeah. And cash was always a problem. Yeah.
Right. So it's almost 7. If you can wrap up a quick question, we'll take one final question in 2 minutes, and then we'll close. Right. Thank you.
As a member of the corporate chain, I get a lot of my ideas and things I do outside of work.
Of course.
From work. So when you say that you don't have to be in it to really be an entrepreneur, how does the fact that you get your ideas from work or outside?
I did not understand your question, buddy. Could you say that again? I did not understand your question.
So what I'm saying is that I get a lot of my ideas or things I want to do entrepreneurially from the work I do, the work I see, from the business I interact with.
Okay.
In those areas. And of course I can't do it with my position, so there's always entrepreneurial ways to do it. And of course grow, make money, things aside. So said that you don't always have to go into the corporate system to really understand what you want to do as an entrepreneur. So what balance can you find between the two of first going into corporate and figuring out what you want to do and learning, or seeing the gaps where they are to create into entrepreneurship?
I don't think anything trains you for entrepreneurship. It's an experience that you face. Even though you may come from many years of corporate, entrepreneurial is going to challenge you in very different ways. You have no structure. Even the people who started with me as a startup, like I hired some really smart people, and the lack of structure in a startup really hit them. And some of them survived and some did not, truly, because they just wanted the structure. Something was changing, right? Every day something was breaking. Every day, sometimes we face, like, read the book Hard Things About Hard Things and you'll understand. And when I read that book, sometimes I have tears in my eyes. I'm like, somebody understands the pain that I went through. You will face cash problems because you're growing fast. Yes, your corporate gives you a little bit of structure, but like I said, it's always a balance. I still don't understand your question completely, but if I understand what you're saying is that, do you do corporate first or entrepreneurship first, or how do you take the learning of corporate into entrepreneurship and vice versa? Probably. You're just giving up. But yeah, I can talk to you after this. Yeah. So, yeah.
Right. Thank you, Shaily and Professor Menon, for sharing a story.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you.